Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, dedicated to making you a better fisherman. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors: The Boat Shop, 3J's Four-Way, Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, The Lakes Insurance Agency, V&M Baits. Now on to your hosts, Ranger Daiwa Pro Staff Steve Graft and V&M Baits President Kevin Jean.
Thank you, Lisa Jean, for that awesome intro right there. We're big time now, Kevin.
Yeah,
we are big time, dude. We got an official intro now. All we're missing, and supposedly James is going to correct it next week. We're going to have a little background music.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we are moving up in the world.
Finally.
Welcome. We are glad you're tuned in today. We've got a great show lined up for you here on Tackle Talk Live. I'm Steve Graff along with Kevin Jean, and we're going to hopefully have one of the best interviews I hope we have. This guy's a good friend of mine and Kevin's. We fished against him. I've donated a lot of money to AJ over the past few years.
Absolutely.
Aaron Johnson is going to be on the show today, and he's just one of those guys that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and I had the opportunity, me and Aaron actually stayed together at the Ray Scott National Championship last year in Eufaula, Alabama, and got to know AJ really a lot better. And now the one thing he will vouch for, Kevin, I make the best nachos west of the Mississippi. I introduced AJ to some good nachos, and we ate good that night. But anyway, we ate Mexican 2 or 3 nights during that whole trip. And but hey, there's no better guy, not many anglers better than Aaron Johnson. He got a great track record.
Well, when you talk about a tournament that a fraud could possibly be a player, Aaron Johnson will be competing in that tournament. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
That's exactly right. And AJ's one of those anglers. He's multiple. He's versatile. He can do a lot of things. He's just a really good angler. And just another one of those great anglers from that Shreveport Bossier area. Yeah. We had Shane Williams on a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Shane won a tournament. I mean, I remember Kevin asking the Angler's Choice, the old tournament director for Angler's Choice. He was the national director. We were at Texoma, and I said, of all the divisions of Angler's Choice, which one do you think is probably the best division in the country? He said, oh, that's easy. That's Shreveport Bossier, Northwest Louisiana division.
Well, you take this tournament alone, Steve. Nick LeBrun finished third.
Exactly.
Shane Williams won an event, the BFL, 3 weeks ago over there. So you got 3 guys right there that, there's no doubt that the Shreveport area is just loaded with fishermen.
No, it really is. And AJ's just another one of those guys. So real quick, before we get to AJ, though, we're also going to talk about the results from the whole Rayburn event, and there were some good sticks in here that AJ beat for this event. We're going to wrap up the Bob Seeley. We're also going to touch on the Bass Champs Championship, a little bit about Red River. Is the Red River on its way back? And Kevin and I will give our opinion on it, what we think, based off the results from that tournament. And hopefully maybe AJ will put his 2 cents in on it as well. I don't know how much he's been on the river, but he's definitely a Red River guy and very familiar with it and does very well on it. So, but before we get to all
also
of that,
the Bass Nation Regional from Toledo Bend.
Yep, Bass Nation Regional.
We got those results in. Talk a little bit about that.
Albert Collins was doing really well at one point. We'll see how he finished up in that event. So, but before we get to all that, real quick, we got some sponsors we want to recognize.
The Boat Shop. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer, offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. Stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the Boat Shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com.
And by the way, we're back in our old studio, which is where this thing originated from. We've got some AC repairs we've done in here. Still not working yet, Kevin, as you can tell.
No, but it's not 105 outside anymore.
Exactly. That's why we moved back over here and got out of my office and got back into the studio here. So hopefully from here on out, all through the winter, we'll be in here from here on out. So real quick, 3J's Four-Way Cypress Knee Outdoors, John Abraham, invite you to come down, make that short drive just south of Natchitoches, exit 127 off I-49. Hunting, fishing, everything you need from guns to ammo. You crappie guys, he's got a great selection of crappie jigs, got a great selection of the entire line of V&M baits. Strike King, you name it, he's got it for the fisherman. Whether you're a serious angler or just a weekend warrior, he has got everything you need. And all you hunters, feeders, deer stands, climbers, ladder stand, you name it, he's got you deer hunters taken care of. All you got to do is go down there to Cypress Knee Outdoors, which is located inside 3J's four-way. Again, right there off Highway 1, just south of Natchitoches. And so, John Abraham, go see him. Tell him you heard about it on Tackle Talk Live.
And last but not least, Pride Rods, American-made and custom-built here in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Gary Loomis. They carry all your freshwater and saltwater applications for spinning and casting rods. Pride Rods, they definitely pass the eye test, but they surpass the test of performance even more. Stop by your local tackle store and pick one up, or simply ask about Pride Rods. You can also go to priderods.com or give them a call at 832-418-6040 or 936-697-4149.
And on the phone with us, we have a friend of ours, the winner, and a man I have written many checks out to, or might as well written them out to him because he's taken a lot of my money over the years, but a guy that I have tremendous amount of respect for, one of the best anglers in this region, Aaron Johnson, the winner of the Toyota Series on Sam Rayburn. Aaron, has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, a little bit. It was definitely a surprise after the practice that I had, but, it worked out.
Well, another thing, AJ, I saw in your interview, you alluded to the BFL and how you struggled in that event. Actually, I was there. I think Kevin was there for that event. A lot of people struggled in that event. But to bounce back like you did, and I think you said you really didn't change much from that event. It's just whatever you were doing didn't work, or those fish didn't bite in that BFL, but they bit for you this time.
Yeah, I actually found those fish getting ready for that BFL Super Tournament. That was just a couple weeks ago, and you were there that day, and it got slick and bluebird, and they just didn't bite. And there was a lot of pressure on them too, a lot of other boats on them, and that has an impact. And I think what really happened this past week is that the few days of practice we had were primarily bluebird and slick, and just not a lot of wind. And I just don't think a lot of people found them because I'm sure they went through those areas. I wasn't fishing any secret places. I mean, you go to Caney, Harvey, Canyons, Beach, the Forest. I mean, those are popular areas, but I just don't think people got bit because the first day I showed up, there was one boat in that area.
Yeah.
So you don't think you had a lot of pressure on the fish that you were catching?
No, there was none. I mean, it was just me and one of the boat, and they were doing something different. And so, I was able to move around pretty freely, and there weren't a bunch of big motors running and people with their sonar on, and I think that had a pretty big impact. Now the second day it blew pretty hard, and a lot of boats showed up because they couldn't get out of the big water.
Right.
Yeah, and that was going to be my question for you, AJ, is, on day two when the water blew so hard, did that affect you? Was you able to get to that same area? And was it mainly an area, or did you kind of have a pattern and technique figured out?
So it's both. It was multiple areas, but it was a pattern. And if I found the right grass, I could catch them.
Gotcha.
All over the lake, pretty much.
Now, AJ, was overall for this event, just hearing Doc talk and talking to some other guys, were a lot of guys trying to punch fish up? Was that the primary technique for this event?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of flipping going on, and I spent quite a bit of time in practice doing that, and I was able to get some bites, but it wasn't very consistent. I'm sure there were a lot of people offshore as well. I spent a couple days, offshore just because I didn't want to get burned like I did, in that BFL Super Tournament. And I actually didn't even go try to catch these fish in practice until about 3 o'clock on Wednesday, the day before the tournament started. And I caught a 4-pounder pretty quick, had a couple more bites, and I decided I'd give it a shot the next day.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I also saw in your interview with FLW was that you had one crankbait that's kind of a bait that you've got a lot of confidence in. I think it's a bait you've kind of altered a little bit on your own. You've done some things to this particular bait. How important was this particular crankbait to you winning this event? Did a majority of your fish come on this bait?
100% of them came on that bait.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting to hear because, I mean, you look at, first and second place, and this, and you were first with a total weight of 54.14. Blake Schroeder was second with 54.3. But third, Nick LeBrun is 45 pounds. So you and Blake were by far, coming out the most consistent in the tournament. And to hear that, to have the consistency at basically 19, 17, and almost 19 again on day 3 at such a tough Sam Rayburn right now, that's very interesting to hear that 100% of all 3 of those days came off of that one bait.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I had 2 of them tied on. One on 15-pound fluorocarbon, the other one on 17 pounds, just because of the thickness of the grass. I'd pick up the 17 pound if it's thicker, and the 15 pound if it wasn't. I think I get a little bit better action out of the bait.
Right.
On 15. But yeah, the same two body styles with a little bit different coloration on them, which I don't know if that matters at all or not.
Yeah. More about the action.
Yeah, I think it's more about the action because, on Rayburn, you know this, that there's not a lot of secrets out there.
Yeah.
And,
No.
If you can show them something different, you can catch them behind people.
Yeah.
Well, AJ, we're not asked for areas here. I mean, what certain specific spots, but what area of the lake? You just said Caney and Veach to Harvey. I mean, is that the area of the lake you focused in on?
Yeah, I mean, I caught them I had fish in the forests, had some in Caney, had them in Veach, had them in between Hog Branch and the second pocket in Harvey, had them in the canyons. I was never able to fish the ones in the forest because the wind wasn't right the first day, so I didn't go. And then the wind blew out the forest on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now looking back, and tell me if you think this had an effect, because just looking at the standings, it doesn't look like there was any like nobody had that 9 or 8 pound kicker, a lot. But looking at the Bob Seeley event the weekend before, there was several 9s caught. The top 4 places were over 9. I really thought there was going to be some really big fish brought in for y'all's event, but it looks like it was more of a 3 to 4 pound type tournament. And according to the Seeley people, there was a bunch of 3 and 4s weighed in their weigh-ins.
Yeah, I never looked at what was weighed in during the Seeley tournament, but you got a lot more boats obviously out there.
Well, and you got to think of the Seeley. That was the hurricane blew it in. I think
the
weather. I think
weather had a factor.
They were biting that week a little bit better, especially than they did the week before.
Had
for
good
us.
wind on the lake.
The BFL.
Yeah.
So I think they might have bid a little bit better, even though there was a ton more boats on the water than they did for you guys. Now day 1. AJ, I believe you were sitting in second in day 1. Going into day 2 with that wind, did you have to change anything up? I know you caught them all on the same bait, but as far as areas, was you able just to run some new water with this thing? Did you have to do it because of the wind, or did it help you?
I thought that the wind was really going to make them eat a lot better for me that day, but the wind put 8 more boats in my primary area. So the first day it was me plus 1. And that plus 1 was doing other things and wasn't running around. And then day 2, there were 6 more boats and they were running around. So they're cruising past, grass beds and, throwing boat wakes. And there's just a lot more noise. And those fish on Rayburn are educated. So that affected them. And so I ran a couple places and ended up picking up one of my biggest fish on a really small kind of not obvious grass bed. You see these big long stretches and they draw boats, but so I wanted to find little places that might be, 20, maybe 40 feet or 50 feet long, and that was it. And that was a key fish for me. on the second day, and I did have one pretty good one that I only got a couple cranks in the reel on, and it just came off. But it was a little bit more difficult on the second day, not really what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
So you pretty much, I mean, this was a shallow water event for you, obviously. I mean, did you catch any fish? Was any top fish at all involved in your stringers each day?
What do you mean by top? Like top water or large?
No, like
Knowing
brush
you
tops.
like a
brush
okay, I
tops.
thought you were
Brush
talking about
tops.
like top
I'm talking
water.
about. Did you go out deep in and pull in a couple of keepers off of brush tops or anything like that?
No, I didn't. I fished a lot of brush tops in practice. I caught quite a few small fish in them. It just wasn't consistent.
Right.
And I think those get a lot of pressure, and they're easy to find now with electronics. I did spend probably a day and a half just with my live scope targeting suspended fish in timber. And that's a good way to catch some big ones, but they just weren't cooperative for whatever reason. And you know, the reason I was out there is because I didn't want to get burned like I did in the BFL.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get it to work. You know, at least not consistently. I mean, I did get a hold of some pretty big ones, but I could very easily have zeroed out there.
Yeah.
And you know, and so that fish at 3:00 the day before the tournament started is what made me decide to do, you know, what I knew could work.
Right. Right.
Good deal.
Wow.
Good deal.
Well, sounds like you definitely figured something out that other guys, and, you know, and I guess my other question was going to be, was this a trash fishing tournament? But it really wasn't for you because you were using primarily the same bait. You know, trash fishing is where you're using multiple baits, top water, spinner bait, crankbait, didn't really matter. But this didn't sound like that kind of event for you. You had them figured out. You had a particular bait that you were zeroed in on them with, and you just stuck with it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've done it before down there on the same bait. It's been a few years ago, but it was a 2-day event, and I caught 100% of my fish on the same bait. And
How deep running crankbait is that, AJ?
I mean, by the time I file down the bill, it's going to go 8 inches,
Gotcha.
maybe 10 inches.
Gotcha.
Oh, so it's almost like a wake bait then.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I see almost every fish that eats it.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes for some exciting fishing as well.
Yeah.
When you can see them eat it. Well,
Yeah. Sometimes you need to look away though.
yeah. Well, AJ, man, congratulations, dude. Job well done. And I mean, that's now AJ has actually won a Bassmaster Open on Kentucky Lake, if I remember correctly. He won at Kentucky Lake, so this is his second biggest win of his career, but it is a good one. I mean, if you're going to win one, AJ, this was a good one to win, and man, congratulations. We're happy for you, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that Kentucky Lake tournament I won in the grass in about 3 to 5 feet of water as well in October.
Same crankbait?
No, I was flipping grass then.
Okay. All right, man. Well, hey, dude, we appreciate you joining us today, and thank you for sharing exactly how it all went down. And we couldn't, like I said, we couldn't be more proud of you. And of course, all the guys that had a really good event. We had Nick LeBrun's a good friend of all of us, and Nick finished third in this event. Chris McCall, he's kind of the guy that's the creator of the Santone swim jig craze that started off. Chris McCall is one of the designers of that bait. Stephen Johnston finished in 5th, another local angler that we all know from Toledo Bend, another great guy. Tim Renault. Just this Todd Castledown. I mean, AJ, you beat some sticks, dude. You beat some guys that
you beat the Sam Rayburn who's who.
Yeah, you
no
did.
doubt.
You did. You beat some of the best.
It doesn't happen very often, you know. And I need to thank Tim. So Tim showed up on the second. Well, he came into that main area late on the first day, and then the second day he was there a lot. And there was this one particular point that I kept wanting to fish, and I'd look up and there'd be Tim. I'd go around the corner and I'd give it a rest, and I'd come back and he'd be back on it. So like he hit it probably 8 times. So I was just giving him a hard time that evening. And I didn't say, hey, don't fish that point. I'm like, man, you're like a magician. Every time I look up, you're there, then you're gone, then you're there, then you're gone. We're just joking around, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the next day, Tim didn't go in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that was just, he could have. He can go wherever he wants, but he didn't go in there.
Right.
I ended up catching my biggest fish. It was actually one of them that they got some photos of on that point that day. And Tim just deciding that he was going to pretty much leave that area to me probably really helped. And so a big thanks to him just to do that with, and I didn't ask him to do it. He just did it.
Right.
Out of the goodness of his heart. So
Well,
great guys. All those are really great guys, great fishermen. To say you were the best on Rayburn that week that's a good accomplishment.
yeah, especially when I look at the stand. I'm just now realizing Fletcher Shryock, Tommy Biffle, Zach Birch, let's see here, David Curtis. Just a lot of those top-notch guys from the Pro Tour were in this event. Daryl Gleason. I'm telling you, you beat the best of the best, AJ, and that's like I said. I know you're proud. I know it probably hadn't totally sunk in, but man, that's just huge, man. Congratulations, bud.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the time today.
All right,
Thanks, AJ.
Aaron Johnson, the winner of the Toyota Series at Sam Rayburn, and now that wrapped it up for the Toyota Series, and our good friend Justin Cooper.
Yeah.
Finished runner-up for Angler of the Year. What a great year for Justin.
Yeah.
What a great way to introduce himself to the pro level.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting if Justin takes that leap to fish the I was going to say the FLW Pro Tour, but now I'm assuming it's called the Best Five.
Yeah, the Big Five. The Big Five.
Pro Tour.
And he finished 10th in this event.
He finished 10th in this event. Was sitting, I think 6th or 7th maybe going into the final day. Kind of struggled down the final day. But it is. This tournament was the best of the best on Sam Rayburn. It just all the top sticks from Sam Rayburn came out fish this event.
Our buddy Lazion, Kevin Lazion, finished 13th in this event.
Absolutely. I mean, you can just go down the list. Anybody, all the sticks at Rayburn showed out for this event.
There's a young man, Kevin. I don't know who's on your V&M Pro staff.
He's on it.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, this young man right here, folks, remember this name because he's one of these up-and-coming sticks out of the high school program. Cameron Madison out of Airline from Bossier City. I'm telling you right now, that's a name you need to start to remember because he may be the next Nick LeBroom or Aaron Johnson coming out of this area.
We're talking about another V&M. If you want to talk about young guns, look at the ninth place Cole Moore from Anacoca. He is 20 years old, Steve.
Really?
This kid and finished. He was leading on day one. Had five fish for 21 pounds.
21.
He was in 3 weeks ago. He was in second or third in the BFL after day one. Kid's a stick. I fished with him growing up. He grew up just right down the road from my house. Cole is an absolute hammer, and you will see his name as well as Cameron's also. Both Team V&M guys. I will say that Team V&M showed out this week. 8 guys got paid off Team V&M. Number 3, Nick LeBroom. 9th place, Cole Moore. 10th place, Justin Cooper. 13th place, Kevin Lazion. 18th, Jerry Keith, another young stick coming up out of Shreveport. 21st place, Cody Pitt. 25th, Daryl Gleason, and 26th, Cameron Madison. So Team V&M showed out a little bit.
You were well represented.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Congratulations to all those guys as that wraps up the Toyota Series. We're going to move on right now. Another tournament that wrapped up just 2 weeks ago on Red River. We hadn't had a chance to really talk about it yet. Was the Bass Champs Championship. It was a 2-day event on Red River. Dean Alexander, Thomas Martins won it with 26-17. But, Kevin, what impressed me the most was how tight the weights were. 19 pounds, which is Sam Huckabee and Toby Johnson from Shreveport. They finished 20th with 1963. So between 26-17 and 1963, there was 19 other people.
Yeah.
Other teams tightened in. A lot of fish were caught.
That's what impressed me more than the weights with Red River was I was very surprised that many teams was able to put together that many limits.
Yeah.
Basically saying that there's that many fish of that size in Red River after a full week of practice.
Exactly.
So you can imagine these guys beating on them all week during practice and then to still catch that. I really like the way Red River's starting to look and shape up, Steve.
I had a chance to talk to Sam Huckabee again. Sam's a local angler up there. He usually does extremely well on Red River. He's one of the Red River sticks. If you're showing up and Sam's in it, he's one of the guys. He's kind of going to be around the top. He's always consistent. And I talked to him yesterday at length. And he really believes the river is on its way back. He said he caught a lot of fish, actually had an area holding some threes, caught a couple of fours out of. He said the quality is getting better. And he said maybe, and we talked about lack of pressure on the river, maybe is what saved the river and brought it back, because hardly nobody's been fishing it. So this event with Bass Champs having these kind of results, even though it wasn't big stringers, again, 2-day total 26, so you're looking at 13 pounds a day to win it. But
to have that quality, I mean, that quantity, that number of fish of that 9 to 10, 11 pound range caught on a stringer, I was that excited me a little bit to see those kind of numbers come from Red River.
And the top 20 teams all caught 10 fish limits for both days.
Right.
And I'm like, so that tells me the Red River Waterway Commission, Eric Gilmore and your guys and the restocking program, it's paying off, man.
It is.
I think this is the result of that. And keep doing what you're doing. In another year or two, Red River may be back in what it was years ago.
I talked to several of my friends that was practicing for that event. One gentleman from Shreveport-Bossier area that was practicing for it he lives there way in advance before even the Fishers of Men Regional went there, that we talked about that term as well. He said, Kevin, the fishing was unreal. He said, I could go in a pocket and you could tell there hasn't been a boat in there in 3-4 months. He said, I'd catch several 3-pounders. He caught 5 or 6 fish over 4 pounds. He said it was just unreal. Now, did he think there was a lot of fish in there to go around? No. He said once a boat gets in there and catches 3 or 4 of them, he didn't think it was going to be any good.
Right.
After the full week of practice, he felt like it was going to get tougher and tougher just because he didn't know the quantity was down there.
Yeah.
But he said the quality he was seeing was just really, really good, which, like you said, just shows what the restocking is doing on Red River.
Exactly. And the backwater bite I heard was good. The Red River bite was pretty good on the main jetties. Pool 5 and Pool 4 is where the tournament was won out of. First place team came out of Pool 4. First and third were 4. Second place was out of 5. So, again, Pool 4 and 5 were the big players in this event. I don't know how many guys maybe came to 3. But, again, 4 and 5, which is where the majority of the tournaments are going to be won anyway. There are a few people that will come to 3 when they know they can get that consistent bite in 3. But, again, Red River, the vegetation's starting to come back. Just what little I've been back on it again in the last 6 months. I'm seeing vegetation again. Now, there are some places that have silted in that the Red River Waterway Commission is in the process of dredging a lot of these spots from 5 and 4. They're constantly got barges on the water trying to dredge those places out. And by the way, Clark's Marina was a spot that Sam Huckabee said they've dredged it. You can now get back into the old Clark's Marina area, which you couldn't do for a long time there. Not sure how to tell you how to get in there, but you'll have to figure it out once you get there. But there was some great fishing in that Clark's Marina area over the years. And so that's an area now that's kind of been protected that nobody's been able to get to. So, but now it's a lot of these places are opening back up. Now, the north end of White House, those of you that know the river, it's hard to get in up there. It's actually silted in. You can't get in. You have to go on the south end of White House to actually get across it, go across the jetty to get in it. So, but anyway, Red River's on its way back. So I look for more events, Kevin, in the future. I think more championships may go there.
I really do.
Especially in the fall.
In the fall, Shreveport is just such a good host city to have your events in. And Shreveport, Red River Waterway Commission, they want the tournaments. They're begging the tournaments to come in. And Red River just fits it. Caddo, Caney, those lakes are not really big enough to fit a lot of those large tournaments. Red River is the perfect venue, the perfect setup. If we can just get the fishing back right, and I'm with you. I agree. I believe it's on its way. The stocking is working. Quantity's there. The quality is there. And it's just going to get better.
Yep. And before we get to, let's see here, what else we got to talk about?
We got the Bass Nation results. The Central Regional was this past weekend on Toledo Bend.
Okay.
First place, Jeff J. Beffa from Missouri had a 3-day total weight of 35 pounds and 12 ounces. Second place, Albert Collins, name we definitely know, has been on the show here from Nacogdoches, Texas, was 32.8. And then for the team, the state team that won the overall event, Arkansas come away with that.
Yeah.
They finished first for the team event. But Jay and Albert both, I believe, if I'm understanding, they've changed the nation qualification things. And I believe both those guys qualify for the national tournament, which will determine who goes to the
Classic.
Classic, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that because they changed the rules again, and I don't know for sure if that's the rules, but it has got changed. But Albert does get to move on.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Congratulations to him. I know he listens to the show and appreciate all he does for us. But and then Arkansas just came down. Arkansas had 1, 2, 3 guys in the top 10,
Wow.
and that's what made them win the team event. So very, very tough, very stingy Toledo Bend right now. It's just hard to get bit, Steve, on Toledo Bend right now.
Low water conditions right now.
Yeah, but, the fish are in a little funk, and I think they're out there in the river just chasing bait everywhere.
Yeah.
They're suspending right now, and when Toledo Bend gets like that, it is really, really tough.
Yeah.
So
well, good job by all those guys. Congratulations to Albert and one of our guys that would like to say me and Kevin know personally, and congratulations to him. Before we get to the Sealy and wrap it up, Kevin, we got a couple more sponsors we need to recognize.
Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located at 6302 State Highway in Hemphill, Texas, just across Pendleton Bridge, right before at the Crease Creek Boat Ramp right there. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. Stop in for your latest fishing report and shop all the right tackle to make your trip to Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn a success. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiner, Keith has you covered. Also a shout out to Keith. He fished the owner of Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. He fished the Toyota Series event last weekend and got a check actually. Keith finished in 20th place. Had a 2-day wait of 26-1, so shout out to Keith for his top 20 finish over there. And, go in, sit down. If you want a fishing report, need to know what the fish are doing on Sam Rayburn or Toledo Bend, Keith is in there, or Ben Matsubu. Either one can get you pointing in the right direction with the right baits.
Yep. Also, the Lakes Insurance Agency, an independent insurance agency, has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, recreational, vehicle, life, health, and commercial insurance. The owner, Clark Moore, is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs. As a boat owner, wants to be your go-to guy for your insurance needs. Give him a call for your free quote. The agency is located at 805 Southeast Stallings.
Nacogdoches.
Something ST. That's not street. It's not Site 3 or
Suite 3.
Suite 3. Nacogdoches, Texas. I don't think that's the right abbreviation, but anyway, we'll get that corrected. Nacogdoches, Texas. Give them a call at 936-205-4467. That's 936-205-4467. And again, tell them you heard about it on Tackle Talk Live, and that's the owner, Clark Moore. So thank you, Mr. Clark. Appreciate you. Appreciate your help with our show. All right, now moving on, Kevin, we have got the Sealy. Boy, I tell you what. Top 4 fish, all over 9 pounds.
Yeah, Steve, for this event, as tough as the BFL was the week before, I was very, very shocked.
Yeah, me and you both.
It was taking 3.5, 4 pounders, sometimes 3 pounders getting money. I did not expect that. I thought a good solid just 3 pounder was going to get you money every hour, and it just didn't. That was the weekend of the hurricane. I was actually hoping to go over and fish that event. But the hurricane coming through, and I couldn't go over. Didn't want to leave the family in case we lost electricity or whatever. But they caught them. The hurricane must have triggered the fish a little bit because they flat out caught them.
Yeah, it took a 6-pounder in every hour to win it, except for 2 in the 3-day period. Took a 6-pounder every hour. Top 4 places were all over 9 pounds. Top water bite, according to Bob Seeley, I talked to Bob, was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
He said it was crazy, stupid fishing. He said the top water bite turned on. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the hurricane, the front coming through, whatever created that. But top 2 fish weighed came on the final day during the 10 and 11 hour and the 11 to 12 hour. Those fish were weighed in back-to-back hours. And again, another great event by Bob. Bob said it was a little bit of a low turnout, but he's looking for 2021 to be a bounce-back year. A lot of people hopefully will be over this COVID mess, and people will be out and about again. And I look for the 2021 Sealy circuit to be back to its normal.
Absolutely. It'll be back to being,
what all these Sealy events
what
are.
all have always been. But what really shocked me also on that day was I want to know the top 2 for sure. Fish of that event were caught on Sunday, the last day. So
exactly, the last 2 hours,
of the last day. So all that pressure Friday and Saturday, the two biggest fish were caught the last 2 hours on the last day.
Yeah, 10 to 11 and 11 to 12 hours back-to-backs when those two fish came in.
Yeah.
And so, again, and like you said, sometimes it took over a 7-pounder to win an hour. But 326 at the bottom, 290 at the, 327.
327, yeah.
351. I mean, you had to be three and a half plus.
And I really
just to
did.
get a check.
It's 3.5 plus, and I really expected that number to be more around the 300, 301
I did
range to
too.
get a check. So I know several guys that really got on a pattern, got some things working, won several checks, several of my good buddies over there. So congrats to all those guys, and a good, successful event for the Sealy Outdoors program to end their year on. I know he's ready for 2021, though, for
Oh,
sure.
heck yeah. As well as a lot of us are. We're ready for 2020 to be over. Coming up, we're going to, real quick, we're going to introduce to you, which it's already been introduced, the ABA Pro 150 Pro Tour that's been announced by Chris Wayan last week with ABA. And real quick, it's a format. It's a pro format only. No co-anglers are in this event. $600 entry fee. And basically, you're fishing for $20,000. And the phones, according to Chris, have absolutely rang off the hook. He said, my phone has just been blowing up, as well as ABA headquarters. And we're going to tell you real quick. Kevin's going to go over the payback real quick. I'm going to look up the deadline to enter, or when you can enter for this event.
October 26th is the start date. I know that because I've got that on my calendar to register. But for the payout, and that's the question we've got asked the most. So based on 150 boats, $600 entry fee, first place is $20,000. Second place, $9,000. Third place, $6,000. Fourth place, $5,000. Fifth place, $3,600. Jump down to 10th is $1,500. 16th through 20th is $900. 26th through 30th is $750. All of that for a $600 entry fee. Big bass for the event is $1,000.
And keep in mind, if the turnout's as good as what they're anticipating, it says the 150. There is a cutoff right now, but if a lot of people enter, they're going to expand it to 200. They may just open it up and say, hey, if you want in, you can get in, depending on the demand. If that happens, you may be fishing for $30,000-$40,000 instead of just $20,000
For a $600 entry fee.
For a $600 entry fee.
Individual tournament.
Guaranteed to fish both days, no cut. Everybody fishes 2 days, and it's over. And if you're a weekend warrior, if you're a guy looking to make that jump to the next level, there's going to be some sticks in this. I'll go ahead and clue you in right now. That kind of money is going to draw some really good anglers into this. But that's what it's all about, competition. That's why a lot of us fish. It ain't about the money, because most of us ain't making money at this deal.
Right.
Most of us are donating money. But anyway, it's all about the competition. It's going to be well run. Chris Way and ABA do a great job. I really look for this to really take off and do a great job. Registration will open for this event October 26th at 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time. You can, and again, here's the division. There's two divisions, Southeast Division and Southwest. The Southeast is Eufaula, Alabama, Gunnersville, and Chickamauga. The Southwest Division is Toledo Bend, Rayburn, and Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. So if you're looking to fish this particular circuit, if you commit to all three, you're automatically in. If you want to shotgun a couple of events, they're going to probably put your name on a waiting list, because this is about the circuit. They want you to commit. They want you, just like the FLW was the same way when it was ever start. I remember if you didn't enter all of them, you didn't get in. So I look for this to take off. I know a lot of us, including myself, will be fishing this. The response has been tremendous. So I highly encourage you, again, for a $600 entry fee, you can't beat this, dude.
No.
And you don't have to worry about a co-angler. You can have water to yourself. You don't have to worry about showing a co-angler a spot that you didn't want them to see or know about. So I really think this is going to be a big deal.
It really is. It's something the area needed for an individual event. We've got the top-notch team circuits out there.
Yes.
Bass Champs, Outlaw Outdoors. You can name Texas Team Trail. The top-notch team circuits. But for the individual circuits, it's very, very expensive to fish. I really enjoy fishing individual circuits. And this just gives those guys that enjoy the individual circuits a chance to fish something for a lot of money with the right payback.
Here's the dates for the Toledo Bend. It's going to be February 5th and 6th. And for Sam Rayburn, it's going to be March 26th and 27th. And for Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, it's going to be April 30th and May 1st. So
AOY will get the entries paid. We'll get a free will get free entry into the
next year,
championship,
which is $1,800 value,
and the Ray Scott National Championship as well.
And then maybe some contingency prizes to go along with that. They're still working on some stuff. Also, they're also working on how many guys will qualify for the Ray Scott Nationals out of this particular circuit. Again, I just think it's going to be better and better. Be patient because this is new. And it was something that was kind of put together at the last minute, but they've been working on this for about a year. So hopefully the turnout will be good. And again, Great Lakes, can't beat the lakes. Toledo, Bend, Rayburn, Eufaula, Oklahoma. So should be a good turnout.
And for that registration, October 26th, so it's a $900 non-refundable deposit to be made for those 3 tournaments if you go ahead and register for the whole event. Moving right along for upcoming events, talking about the Ray Scott National Championship.
Oh, and by the way, real quick, registration, if you want to fish just a single event, you have to wait and enter November 2nd at 8 o'clock Central Time. So if you just want to enter Toledo, Rayburn, or just Eufaula, you have to wait till November 2nd. So don't call in expecting to get signed up because you're going to waste their time. So wait till November 2nd if you're entering one event. Or if you're not committing to the whole circuit, wait till November 2nd to call in.
Right.
Go ahead.
And speaking of the Ray Scott National Championship, November 1st through the 7th, it will be going on this year at Lake Hartwell. And I know that is something you are attending and kind of excited and eager to get on the road and start up there at Lake Hartwell.
I know me and Cole Garrett from this region are going, and Kevin Lazion is going. So I know us 3 will be there. And but again, I'm looking forward to it. Never been to Hartwell. And should be a good event. Hopefully, it should be good timing.
And this week, I want to shout out to all of our guys in the BFL Cowboy division that is fishing the regional this week. They start practicing today up at Table Rock. I qualified for it. I just wasn't able to attend, do some things going on at work that I had to be here for. But I know a lot of the guys. Kevin Lazion sent me a picture of a big fish he caught this morning in practice.
And I've heard they're struggling up there.
Yeah, so I want to say good luck to all of our Cowboy division guys up there fishing the regional.
Go get them, man.
Hopefully you guys can figure some things out this week up there. So going on with upcoming events, November 21st is the Rayburn Toy Bash that Outlaw Outdoors puts on. And Steve, this is an awesome event that Clint Stacy put on. Basically, entry fee is 2 toys that are valued at $30 a piece or $60 entry fee, cash entry fee.
Yeah.
They really want you to bring the toys. It's a toy drive right at Christmas time.
Yep, Christmas is coming up.
And they have got some great prizes. First place is $1,000. They have sponsors for each place that comes out. Again, your entry fee is 2 toys. It's a team tournament. 2 toys valued at $30 a piece is your entry fee. First place tournament pays $1,000.
Right.
So,
and if you want to do more, it
yes,
don't have to
absolutely.
just be up to 30. If you want to donate 2 $60 toys,
absolutely
do what you want. I mean, make a kid happy Christmas morning because there's a lot of kids that don't wake up to what a lot of kids get to wake up to, which is a really nice Christmas. This makes their Christmas. Even if they have one gift under the tree, you contributed to that, so it's well worth it.
Any questions you want to look in more of that, you can go to the Outlaw Outdoors Facebook page or their website, fishoutlawoutdoors.com. Check that out if you're a fall, winter angler. Late November, again, November 21st. They should be back biting at that time, so it'll be a great event if you want to come to.
Yeah.
Then on December 13th, the Keith Combs Rayburn Slam, his annual tournament that he has every year. They've moved it back to December this year, mainly because Keith is still fishing the Elite Series right now on Chickamauga, which I think you've got to see. They're going to the last day on that. I know Lee Livesey was doing very well. But so they had to move that event back to December. So great event, great prize money that Keith does. So again, that will be December 13th for the upcoming events.
And then we got the Keith Combs. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
So that was the
Slam,
Keith Combs
December
event.
13th.
And again, Keith always does a great job with his events. Everybody's ever fished his stuff said, man.
Very well ran.
Yeah, it is. And of course, Keith's first-class individual. And by the way, if you want to know, Lee Livesey is still leading at 55.10. He's got a guy right behind him, Mike Huff with 53.3. So it's tight.
It'll be interesting.
But Lee continues to catch him out of the grass with the frog. Seems to be his main ticket. I'm watching
We had Lee on a month or so ago coming after the Open at Sam Rayburn, and he was catching them at Rayburn the same way. He likes catching them on a frog. So, Lee's been on the show with us before. Good friend of mine. I hope he does well. Hope he wins the event, be his first ever BASS win if he can pull it off. So hopefully he can bring that home. But, one more time, we want to give a shout out and thanks to our sponsors, the Boat Shop located up in Shreveport, Louisiana, Garmin Yamaha dealer, 3J's 4-way just south of Natchitoches right here. Stop in right off the interstate, I-49, pick up all your tackle, all your food, ice on the way to the lake. Pride rods, built right here in East Texas, built by Mr. Billy Kistler himself. You need to check those out. Really enjoy those rods. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. Yeah, I mean, anything you need for Sam Rayburn Toledo Bend, he's got it just across Pendleton Bridge, right there by the Crease Creek boat ramp. And last but not least, the Lakes Insurance Agency over in Nacogdoches. Mr. Clark Moore over there. Give him a call for any insurance needs you might need.
Also, stay tuned because Kevin's going to give you a tip of the week, which is on, I believe, punch skirts.
Yes, punch rigs.
Punch skirts. So you might want to check that out. Oh, well, our producer
It didn't load
yet, but we'll try to have
We
that
will
for you.
have that next week.
Yeah, we'll have that next week.
It's talking about rigging. It's the punch rigs that we have two different ones. We got an elite tungsten setup, but then we also have a lead slip jig V&M does that is a little bit cheaper for guys don't want to lose that expensive $8 tungsten. It's a lead slip jig, and we'll get into that a little bit more next week.
All right. And once again, we can't say thank you enough for tuning us in. We hope you enjoyed AJ's interview today. We hope you enjoyed today's show. And be back here next week, next Monday. We'll be right here once again, same time, 12 o'clock noon. Spread the word to your friends. Share. Make sure that everybody comes to our Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. So, hey, a lot to do. A lot of word to be spread about our program. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning us in every week. We can't say thank you enough. And again, we thank all of our sponsors. But if you want to continue to be a better angler, you got to watch Tackle Talk Live.